just myself. Okay, I just watched Ghostrider 2, The Spirit of Vengeance. I've seen bits and pieces of this movie in the past. Just now, I just finished watching... I actually watched it all the way through for the first time ever. Just finished watching it just minutes ago. And I'm going to talk about this. Oh, God. All right. Okay. Ghostrider 2, The Spirit of Vengeance. Pulling up a little information here. We'll use this as kind of our crib notes, and my cat will commentary. Add a bit of commentary to this. Okay, so I saw this movie just now. It's directed by... actually kind of interesting. Neville Dean Taylor, which is actually two people, Mark Neville Dean and Brian Taylor, who did the Crank movies. And the camera work for this film. The story was by David Goyer, David S. Goyer. Let's actually pull up a little information about him. The Blade Trinity guy. Dark City. He's a screenwriter. He's done some actually, I'm looking through this. These are some of the movies I like. So did Man of Steel, a movie I didn't like. Wow, what this guy's like all over the place here. Wow, this guy, oh wow. He was the writer for Demonic Toys, The Crow, City of Angels, Dark City, which I loved, Blade, which was very good. God, that was the same year. He did both of those. He also did the screenwriting for Blade 2 and Blade Trinity. And Batman Begins. This guy is nothing to sneer at. He wrote the story, but I assume not the actual script, for The Dark Knight, which I think is one of the best superhero films ever. And he was also the writer for this film. The guy who did The Dark Knight is the same guy who did Man of Steel. And Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. That's nutty. That's nutty. Alright, so let's talk about... Alright, so Ghostrider 2, The Spirit of Vengeance stars Nicolas Cage and... Alright, what the holy fuck did I just watch? I don't... Wow, this is going to take some work. This is this has just turned into a job. Okay. Let me start out with... I don't know where to start with this movie. Let me put this simply, because I don't know where to go otherwise. This is, I think, a bad movie. Except, I think the people making it, Goyer, Neville Dean Taylor, and the rest kind of realized what they had, maybe even Nick Cage, kind of realized they didn't have a great movie. So they tried to fix it by adding, 5, 6 large gallon barrels of absolute madness. I am not exaggerating. Everything, it's kind of the best parts of this movie, actually, are where it just goes to crazy. Neville Dean Taylor, who did the Crank movies, and this, it really shows here. There are a lot of scenes, and they're the best scenes in the film. They are, where it just goes balls to the walls, insane. There's a little kid puking flame into Nicolas Cage's face for good half minute, 45 seconds, almost a minute. There's at least two scenes where Nicolas Cage as the Ghostrider is peeing flames. There are wrestling moves on the hood of a car that's in the midst of a car chase with the Ghostrider and a demon guy who has power over decay and darkness. Because he has darkness powers, we frequently have. I assume it's a money saving thing. They created these scenes where darkness powers are being used and everything goes black. We can't see anything except the characters in a completely black background. Let's see. God, this movie was nuts. This movie was absolutely crazy. Oh, I don't even... This... Wow. Yeah, me and my group here. Well, let's say this. It had a budget of 157 million. It had a box office of 132. So even if it only made 50%, it had a decent profit. Largely negative reviews, and I see why. The writing on this, the dialogue is not good. Okay, so let's go through this. Dialogue for this film is not good. As I said, this is not a good film. But it sort of redeems itself a little by being just absolutely insane in parts. I mean, it's just nuts. Portions of this film are just really damn crazy. And those parts of it are very entertaining to watch. So you have like long scenes of dialogue that doesn't really work, some of the not best Nicolas Cage acting, where he's all crazy and really crazy. Like I don't know what his acting, what this was supposed to be. He looked really nuts. Like his character. Oh man. Oh wow. This one is. God, just confounding movies lately. So the craziness in this film made it very bearable. The writing is very slow, particularly the first half of this film. Very slow. Very, very, very slow. After the first half, once he's more decimating the shit out of stuff, it gets more entertaining. I mean, the Ghostrider, Spirit of Vengeance, anything he rides, be it a horse, motorcycle, car, turns into this crazy hellfire vehicle of vengeance, an engine of vengeance. So at some point he gets on a Badger 288. A Badger 288 is one of the largest vehicles that have ever been created by man. They're used for mining. It's a gigantic mining vehicle. It's the size of like a village. Like it's a very small town. I mean, it's a gigantic vehicle with two sections, ginormous bridges. It's just look it up. Badger 288. They're absolutely enormous, largest vehicles mankind has ever made. And at one point, the Spirit of Vengeance gets on this thing and turns it into a Ferris wheel of hellfire. That's entertaining. The crazy scenes from this movie are very entertaining to watch. What I recommend is this. Don't buy this movie. Do not spend money on this movie. Don't rent it. Just get your mitts on it somehow. I don't think it's free. I don't know why it's not free. I mean, shit, this is a movie from 2012. This should be Netflix or something like that. Anyway, my point is, if you want to, watch this film, but just fast forward through any long period of just talking, because it'll be boring as shit. Or just weird and stupid, and it's not very good. But the actual action scenes, they're great. They're really great. Like the car chase, the last 15 minutes of this movie is amazing. It was some of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen. I mean, that was awesome. Once again, it was crazy as all fucking get out, and that's what made it awesome. As an aside, I would like to add, the reason I did see this to beginning to end is because I just started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, where Not the Johnny Blaze, but a different version of this character, the Danny Ketch, or whatever that character's name is. There's another, briefly, the Spirit of Vengeance, the ghost in the Ghostrider, possesses Johnny Blaze, and that's how this character came about. He is a stunt rider, a stunt motorcyclist possessed by the Spirit of Vengeance. Later in the comics and other storylines that have this character, Doctor Strange, for example, the Ghostrider possesses other guys, and we have a different take on the character. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started showing the character, so we saw it at the end of the one episode I saw, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool, I remember this. The thing about this movie and the previous one, the first Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage, I wasn't impressed. It wasn't a very good movie at all. It wasn't very good at all. But even though it wasn't good, it had a lot of bits in it that made me go, oh, I see why the Ghost Rider is a cool character. Prior to seeing that movie, I did not give a crap about the Ghost Rider. Same thing with the Thor movie, now that I think about it. Like, I didn't give a crap about Thor, and I saw a Thor movie, and it's like, oh, I can see how this character could be cool and entertaining. Same thing with Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance had a lot of points where, oh, this could be a neat character. One of the problems is, one of the many flaws and distracting features is, between the two movies, we never figure out how the Ghost Rider works, how his powers work, what his limitations are, and so on. Sometimes he just gets... I need to say this. This movie was like a live-action cartoon, and I don't mean The Simpsons. I mean like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. It was so cartoonishly... it's a supernatural horror superhero comic live-action... I just... done by the guys who did the Crank movies and the guy who wrote Man of Steel and the Dark Knight. It's just describing this is crazy. Never mind the actual actors in this. We have Christopher Lambert, the Highlander guy. We've got what's his name? Idris Elba, I guess his name is. Idris Elba, and he's actually very good in this film. He's actually pretty good. He's this French holy secret order guy who's to stop stuff. Another aside, seeing this movie, seeing the Ghost Rider and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and being well aware that Doctor Strange is coming out in November. I want to see the supernatural side of Marvel. And I think they kind of set that up a little bit in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where it's kind of like, okay, Marvel is, in its phase 3, is going to have a lot of supernatural stuff, maybe. Or different tone of stuff. Cool. So they threw this out, the Ghost Rider in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Doctor Strange. I am all about this. I would love to see, like, I mean, I guess Netflix is off the table, but, like, the Ghost Rider... I'd like to see Ghost Rider, Blade, the Punisher, and Doctor Strange maybe, like, kind of team up. Like, the supernatural, really, really dark characters sort of get together and do stuff. I think that would be amazing. That's just an aside. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, because I do not know how to describe this crazy-ass film I just saw, half of which I really didn't care for, half of which I thought was great because it was insane. Like, I'm entertained and boggled at what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to go right into my review. My review thing is, what are the odds you're going to see this and not like it? Pretty darn good. I'd say slightly better than 50-50. So, more than 1 in 2. Let's say 55%. Not quite 2/3. It's not quite to that. Like, it's somewhere in the middle between that. So 55-60%. You're not going to like this film, because it's boring. Idris Elba is pretty good. Everyone else really isn't. There's this other actor I really like. What in the hell? I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly. Ciarán Hinds. This guy is great. He's a great actor. He plays the devil in this film. And he's been in a lot of stuff I like. He was Caesar in Rome, the series, the HBO series. He's been in other stuff too. I really like the actor. He's really awesome, and I guess he was okay in this. This is not one of his better things. This is not the place to showcase his abilities. Okay, so first half of my review, where the odds you're gonna see it, and I like it pretty darn good. Would I see this movie again? Shit, no. No. It was like trying to figure out if this is a supererogatory or compulsory review. It's compulsory. It's definitely compulsory. I have to talk about this because this movie was nuts. I've seen other movies recently that I didn't feel the need to talk about. This one needed to be talked about. It was balls to the walls. Insane. I would not recommend seeing this movie, but I do. At this point, they're probably on YouTube. Just look at best of Ghostrider 2 Spirit of Vengeance, and mostly the car chase. Although if you just watch the car chase, you'll miss a lot of madness in the middle of this film. The second half of this film is worth watching. The first half is not. There's too much stupid dialogue and too much madness. When Nicolas Cage goes crazy, which he does in some films for some reason, a lot, this harkens back to like the Wicker Man. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Don't watch this. Don't watch this goddamn movie. It reminded me of cool stuff about Marvel, but this was not one of those things. I'm hoping Doctor Strange is super awesome in November, and that the Ghostrider is really cool in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think the character is interesting. It's not one of my super interested characters, although he's really growing on me a lot lately. But I think that's it. Like and subscribe. God, don't see this movie. And I think that's it. I'm out. I'm so out.